Hi folks, this is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. I hope everyone's doing well tonight. I'm once again simulcasting on Bumble and Utizzle, and I appreciate everybody that tunes in to watch the program and join us in the chats. We've got a amazing development with the assassinations that happened very recently, and we have a rogue judge coming in the picture. To do what? To release a hostile alien into our country that has already been ordered deported. Wow, what are we going to do? Well, anyway, I know what we're going to do. We're going to watch some videos while people come in to the chats. So buckle up.
When you use intel agencies and law enforcement to illegally go after your political opponents for non-crimes, that is the definition of a conspiracy against rights, a very serious federal civil rights felony under 18 U.S.C. Section 241. And so I would say to all of those people you just named and many, many others, lawyer up, because there's a new sheriff in town at the Justice Department in the name of Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and many others. And I am going to push very hard, very publicly, for them to open a federal criminal probe under 18 U.S.C.
How is it not already open?
Maybe it is.
Donald Trump that the president's job under Article 2 of the Constitution
Hello and welcome to Inside Politics. Let's start with Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Now, of course, Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Trump appointed Donald Trump.
Well, that's interesting because Trump.
President Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump has been president.
President Trump.
Kaylin, where are we right now in this sentencing proceeding?
Donald Trump.
Trump. We have a Donald Trump.
Donald Trump when it comes to Donald Trump.
Trump. And Donald Trump. Missing from that is Donald Trump.
You know, Trump, focus on Donald Trump, Trumpism, Trump, a lot of Trumps.
Fascinating.
In a sense, I don't know why we're surprised by Trump. How many times does he have to prove we can't be trusted?
But I am telling you right now, that mother back there is not real.
The storm zone.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm you're talking about.
They have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person.
He's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around.
Now think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. Our Constitution really does give president tremendous power to destroy. This will be something we could never have imagined.
Now the gloves are off.
Some of Trump's close political allies told him they are working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists.
I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and HE in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. The deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn, and we will quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time.
He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he sees as enemies.
Put them all in jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take take care of it. We will take care of it.
Hi, folks. I hope you all are having a great evening. Thanks for joining me tonight. We're going to discuss. We have got local state representatives openly promoting the Comey numbers 86, and then the other part, 47, and operatives actually in the Department of State that have been rooted out and summarily fired, along with the other issues I talked about at the beginning of the program. Hi, Darla. Hi, Angel. Kim, nice to see you. Andrew, KNS Cleanup, thank you for going to buy me a coffee last night. I do appreciate it. Lucky, nice to see you. Gloria, Robin, nice to see you. Kathy, Wayne, Gary, it's about to get fun. I keep thinking myself when Trump was on the tarmac giving an interview day before yesterday, he said, I'm working on something very big. When they were asking him about the nuclear situation in Iran, he said, well, I'm working on something else that's really big. What could it be? Are we getting to a nexus? Oh, how many of you, and I want to say hi to Mike and Bev out there. I did get your message, and I appreciate you going to buy me a coffee also. I think they were doing something with their credit card processing. So maybe that had something to do with a delay. I do not know. But I appreciate you breaking through and helping out with Buy Me a Coffee. And also this week, Pappy Two Bears, Wayne, and Whiskey. So anyway, what was Trump talking about? What are you working on that's bigger than the Iran nuclear situation? Wow. And he's taking off this evening to go to Bedminster. And you know my thoughts on Bedminster, alternate facility AF1, where Donald Trump went to once he found out that he was being spied upon. So anyway, this is my thumbnail for those of you just now getting in. Part of the nexus. What I was getting ready to ask you all, how many of you, maybe I should wait till more people get in the chat before I ask this question. Do you remember me saying the term nexus about 3 or 4 times in one broadcast? I was saying that Donald Trump said it was an intricate web and not a tangled web, an intricate web. And I said there has to be a nexus. And I swear, I swanny. The next day, well, within 24 hours, I saw an interview with Trey Gowdy using the very same term. I'm used to that kind of stuff. Otherwise, I would have fell out of my chair, but I did not. He said, we're going to find the nexus. So back to that term. We've got information that this person who was conducting this operation, is that a fair term for someone who is running around in the wee hours of the morning, going to different houses of representatives in their state, attempting to end their lives? Could you call that an operation? They're saying that his confession to the FBI contained verbiage to the effect that Tim Walz wanted him to do it. One person in particular. I'll go over those. I call them tweets or X's or whatever concerning this. And what is the nexus? What do I mean nexus? When you have judges plucked out of some state that wasn't even involved. New Jersey judge, what's he doing with this situation? Federal judge orders to release Colombia pro-Palestinian activist Mahmoud Khalil, a hostile alien. I debated putting that in the thumbnail, but wait a minute. It's lawful terminology. It's an accurate description. It's someone who said they wanted to destroy Western civilization. It's someone who's physically confronted students, intimidated, agitated for the destruction of property and the takeover of school facilities, university facilities. That's not hostile. What's the driving force? What's the nexus? Are these people working together? I have no doubt. But it's going to be something that can be laid out before the American people to justify maybe what this big operation Donald Trump is working on. Minnesota governor, I've had this in my quiver for quite some time. But now's an appropriate time to bring it up. The man who said he learned how to govern while he was in China. They know what they're doing, don't you know? Tim Walsh said China is likely the, quote, one, quote, moral authority. Moral authority? The Chinese Communist Party? In the world, in the whole world, that can negotiate a peace between Iran and Israel. That's some interesting terminology there. We know that a reasonable person, looking at his past statements, his past trips to China, his past behaviors, his opinions, how he treats his constituents and fellow citizens, one could say that he's a communist at heart. Mahmoud Khalil, to be a jihadist, to be involved with, the term gets me in trouble, but I'll say it because the President of the United States says it, radical Islam, okay? There isn't 10 cents worth of dirty ice between their way of governing and the CCP. So is that a nexus? Are we going to find out? People being embedded in government, and I've said it before, how many times have I said it, folks? State, local, federal, they've been doing it for decades. Have I not said that? Graybeard, how you doing? David, nice to see you. Todd's here. Jackie's here. Ha ha ha. Stanton's here. I want to see if anybody remembers. Melvita, nice to see you. Robin remembers me talking about the nexus. And then Trey Gowdy was on Fox News. I'm saying, well, I know Trey probably follows me, Trey Gowdy. I know Geraldo Rivera stole some of my terminology in the past. Hi, Dean. How you doing? So, yeah, well, I got one remembers. But then again, there may be several more that come in afterwards and watch the broadcast and say, I remember when Mountain Man was talking about the nexus. So, Mr. T's been putting out a lot of varied and sundry things on his Truth Social. We'll get into those. Because there's other things going on of great import, like the big, beautiful bill, like the operative, in my opinion, of the central banks, Jerome Powell, too late Powell, who is costing our economy billions and billions a day, along with a great many other things. We'll go over what President Trump is posting, on top of the stuff that we've been hearing about, with the possibility that Tim Walsh is being accused. I'll put it that way, not the possibility. The discussions, I'll put it that way. Other people are discussing it, like Nancy Pelosi said. The wrap-up smear, it's a tactic. I don't know if it's a wrap-up smear or fact that this person was involved. How you doing, Awakened? Angel, nice to see you. Flannel Cheese, nice to see you. So, it's pretty wild. Meanwhile, I gotta get a deep voice like, meanwhile. Anyway, I checked my Ruski and Middle Eastern news services, get a different perspective, and you see things you don't normally see in the regular news. We know that. This is American F-22A Raptors escort a KC-46 tanker over the Middle East. Look at there. What a beautiful formation. Previously, such processions flew from the U.S. to Europe, but now they're based within walking distance of Iran. Well, Good. Keep them on their toes. What is this boiling up? Is this going to boil up? In a way, I'm surprised of hearing this. Is it part of the show? I didn't get the video clip because he's speaking in his native tongue. But Vladimir Putin came out and made a bunch of comments. Here's the essence of it. Russia and Iran are fighting the same forces. That's a quote from Putin. That is, Putin realizes that Israel is not a completely sovereign country now. Therefore, Iran, accordingly, is not fighting with Israel, but with the West. He went on in his address to liken Israel to the Ukraine, being a proxy for what he has said in the past, satanic Western powers. Not the governments, talking about the cabal in control of many other governments. That's his opinion, stated opinion. Is it true? Is it real? I don't know. But he is definitely putting a opinion up contrary to what Mr. T has. Did you all see Mr. T post this? Because I got this off another site. Said Donald Trump posted it. I said, oh, I got a screenshot of it. And then I went back and looked at Mr. T's post. I didn't see it. Did he post it and take it down? Or is somebody jerking my chain that Donald Trump put this up? What is it? It's a picture of Barack Hussein Obama. We know who is responsible for Iran's nuke program. Well, we know that Donald Trump has mentioned many times about that mystery flights in the plural of cash and gold going over to Iran that didn't even go through Congress. A Google account. How you doing? Yeah, Adam Schiff, he's mad about, what's the guy's name? Emil Bowe being nominated for the appellate court. Oh, Google, how you doing? Ivan, nice to see you. All right. Well, glad you're getting a break. Make sure you listen to the whole broadcast when you got time. I prefer, I'm going to get back to doing my talking head stuff, for the people that are working or doing things around the house and want to carry their device with them and listen to my pontifications and whatnot. But while I've got these pictures to do picture show, I'll do them till it gets to be a little much, which is what happens quite often. Now, I tell you what, for those of you who exercised their patience with me the other night, when we had someone of a different opinion come on the program, the broadcast, and I indulged them and they indulged me with some legal questions, I appreciate everyone who participated in a civil way. And I want to say this, I haven't heard back from our erstwhile friend, but I will say that I believe I gave him a little something to chew on concerning these phony convictions of Donald Trump. So, yeah, we got to take those opportunities when we can. Hi, Ronald, nice to see you. Nice to see you. Marie's here. Ha, whiskey's here, you piece of Adam. Yeah. So anyway, let me go through some of these things. Here's something I had. You know, we're seeing more and more of a nexus of people who are skating around the edges of the law, nibbling at the edges of the law, pettifogging and twisting words, and I'll use the word pervert, the spirit of our document, our founding document, and the spirit of whatever law they're trying to manipulate to cause problems for conservatives and Donald Trump. Democrats in Texas are fighting against a bill that would ban squatters from moving into your house. Do what? They want to allow strangers to take over your home if you go on an extended trip for a few months. Utter insanity. Yeah. Another way to demoralize people, to cost people a fortune, to clog up the courts. Some of these courts want to be clogged up. They want to be clogged up. Look here. Is this Circus Olay? Is this some kind of Halloween? No, wait a minute. What is this? Anti-ICE protesters gathered and made loud noises throughout the night outside the hotel where ICE agents were staying in California. Unstable behavior. Well, how do you get this kind of behavior? I know we're in the age of the internet, right? People like this. This person right here. Right Angle News Network. Breaking. The individual who docks the hotel location of federal ICE officers in an attempt to incite violence on them has been identified as Vanessa Angelica Varriel. You know what to do. Oh, I guess they're going to call ICE. Here's her. Hey, they're not worried one bit. What does it say? California confirmed that ICE is staying at the California Hotel in Burbank. Gives the address, everything. Well, either notify ICE for deportment or to have her charged with interfering with lawful operation of federal agents. Okay. Sounds good to me. That's what I'd like to see happen. Then you got stuff like this going on all around the country. Different things. Meet Connecticut State Representative Anthony Nolan, Democrat, posted a picture of no kings. Protesters displaying an 86 and then 47 poster. This is a call to violence against President Trump. And then he tagged the FBI. He knew exactly what he was sharing. He should resign or be expelled. Yes, there they are. He's sharing these posts. And it's nationwide. What's this one down here? Oh, we'll get to this. James O'Keefe, State Department specialist, caught aiding illegals, urging lies. U.S. visa specialist exposed. Helped migrants evade deportation. There he is. I call him Mr. Happy. So we'll get into more of that also. This is the judge who popped up out of the ground, out of New Jersey. Look at him there. Michael E. Farbiaz. I don't know how you say that name, but at least he's American born. He was born in New York. He's just a kid, 73, age 52. How long's he been on the bench? I don't know. I heard he was a Biden appointee. But where does this gall come from? He's defying Congress, defying the president, and the Supreme Court laid out at least some guidelines for making decisions on deportations and giving the executive great deference. He's ignoring everybody. He's a king. No kings. No kings. Oh, wait a minute. He went to Harvard and Yale, the two most infected, next to Columbia, universities we have. So, get this. Hi, Sparky, how you doing? Wanda, nice to see you. He tells them they had to do it, release him by 6:30 or 6:45, somewhere today at Central Time. And I don't know where he got the jurisdiction or how he got the case other than judge shopping. Is this another person getting outed? Is this part of an operation to document federal judges that have no business on the bench? You don't go against everybody as one of 700 or 800 local district judges or to the president and the State Department and thumb your nose at Congress. But that's what he's doing. How did he get involved? In New Jersey. I think this case was in Connecticut, and then it was in New York, and then it was in Louisiana where he was being held, habeas corpus. Now, this judge is saying, well, he can go to this state, he can go to New York, and he can go to Massachusetts, and also ordered that ICE can't track him once they let him go. And the attorney for the government said, can you say your own order so we can appeal this? No. I want him released tonight. Tonight. And last I heard, he was actually released and he's out running his yap. Oh, I went home to hug my wife and daughter. Or wife and child. I don't know if it was a son or daughter or what. Which was born while I was in custody. He should be on the other side of the ocean, okay? With all the other rock-throwing radicals. But here we're stuck because this judge feels that this person who has demonstrated hostility towards our civilization, never mind our laws, our Constitution, and everything else, he should get all the rights of an actual citizen, which everybody knows that's not the case. You get a different level of due process for, say, you got charged with bank robbery. The level of due process versus running a stop sign are two very different things. But no, they want to give this guy everything in the book. They are desperate to keep their additional undeserved seats in the House of Representatives, the political power that they don't deserve, that they only have through chicanery, okay, and skirting the law, breaking law, a coordinated effort to interfere with elections and undermine our political system with the end goal of undermining our Constitution and our way of life and our culture. I thought there was a chance that the government would tell him to go pound sand. But we all know what the headlines would be. Trump is lawless. Trump. Told you he was going to be a dictator. He's not following the courts. Even though the court, this so-called court, is defying the law, is defying the courts. All mind games, how they play it. Department of Homeland Security, I believe it was, put out a statement about this dimwit. Here it is. A dimwit is too kind. This guy's an activist. He's a subversive who's been planted, installed into our system. Homeland Security said an immigration judge, not a district judge, has the authority to decide if Mr. Khalil should be released or detained. That Congress passed a statute about that, or law, whatever you're going to say. On the same day, an immigration judge denied Khalil bond and ordered him removed. Okay, it's supposed to be end of the story. And I remember the other judge, there was another judge who got his rear end up on his shoulders and said, Khalil can stay. Release him now. Homeland Security said, well, we're not releasing him because we got him on something else that's not before your court. And when Khalil went back to that same judge, the same judge, somebody must have gave him a talking to because he said, I'm not allowed to hear that, what you're being held for now. And so case in my court's dismissed and don't bring anything back to me concerning Mahmoud Khalil. And I said, whoa, somebody must have had talk with that judge. Maybe they did. I don't know. But it took them, 72 hours to come up with this character from a different state? Anyway, on the same day, an immigration judge denied Khalil bond and ordered him removed. One rogue, this is language from the Department of Homeland Security. It's getting real, folks. One rogue district judge ordered him released. This is yet another example of how out of control members of the judicial branch are undermining national security. We're getting to some militaristic terms because they're sticking their noses in issues of foreign policy and national security, Judge. The conduct not only denies the result of the 2024 election, it also does great harm to our constitutional system by undermining public confidence in the courts. It is a privilege to be granted a visa or a green card to live in and study in the United States of America. The Trump administration acted well within its statutory and constitutional authority to detain Khalil, as it does with any alien who advocates. Now, I use the term hostile in my thumbnail. The Department of Homeland Security is describing his behavior thusly. So I feel justified in using the term hostile, and he is an alien who advocates for violence, glorifies and supports terrorists, harasses Jews, and damages property. An immigration judge has already vindicated this position. We expect a higher court to do the same. So don't unpack your hush puppies too quick, Khalil. I was thinking to myself, boy, If there was a time to go ahead and lock up a judge, this would be the time to do it. Or just have him removed. Grounds for removal. But I think they're going to have the frequency get turned up a little bit more. Hi, Benjamin. How you doing? Justin, nice to see you. Yvonne, nice to see you. Rebecca. Let's see. Let me get this goofy judge off screen. I can't read the chats very good. There we go. Now I can see some of them. Oh, yeah, they're losing their strength. They're getting desperate and weak. They are weak. Here, look here, like Pride Month. Nothing to be proud of. Hey, liberals. Look here, Democrats, looking at the illegal aliens in the Pride Month. What are you doing? What about me? Yeah, that bubble's popped. I mean, people are calling it out for what it is. You know, here's an example of their operation. I didn't get the video on this. Singing a song, playing a guitar. Who's that? Congressman Hank Johnson. Remember Hank Johnson, the brilliant individual who thought an island could flip over if there were too many people on it? This moron, he composed a song and sang it. And it's to the tune of, Hey Joe. You heard that song? Where you going with that gun in your hand? But he's saying, hey Trump, where you going with the gun in your hand? He wants to be a dictator. He wants to take over the world. Where you going with that gun in your hand? Like he's a war hawk. That's their new line of BS now. And I didn't want to subject you all to listening to that kind of nonsense. Here we have a representative who posted this. You know, tell me this incitement of Trump wants to be a king, Trump wants to be a dictator, somebody's got to do something about it. We're going to lose everything. Will there be no coming back if we don't stop Trump? And everybody who supports Trump. What did Jasmine Crockett say? That we're all we're the ones who are mentally ill. Well, that kind of talk and behavior leads to what happened to this individual here.
Let's make something abundantly clear to anyone who needs to see this, which apparently is a lot of people. If you have an issue with a legislator, your city councilman, your mayor, anyone like that, the appropriate thing to do is to reach out to them for a phone call to set up a meeting at one of our district offices. What is not okay is to assault anyone, whether you're a member of Congress or anybody else within our district, while you are driving to work. Ohio 7, this morning, as I was driving to work, some unhinged, deranged man decided to lay on his horn and run me off the road when he couldn't get my attention to show me a Palestinian flag. Not to mention death to Israel, death to me, that he wanted to kill me and my family. Thank God my daughter was not in my vehicle or anybody else at the time. We know exactly who you are. I have gone about my day. I have carried on my meetings, and we will not hide. And I will continue to fight against anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and all other forms of hate. You have an issue? Take it to our office. You want to run me off the road? That's a different story. We know who you are, young man, and the police are going to be paying you a visit. And I hope what you did this morning is worth it to you and anyone else who plans on doing this to anybody within our district, state, or country.
Yeah, when it happens to you, you get your the hair on the back of your neck standing up. You heard him qualify it. I'm fighting against Islamophobia. No, you better tell it like it is, bud. I mean, I'm glad you posted that video and said what you said. But you better be looking out for jihadists and find out how to get them the hell out of this country as fast as you can. If you got any sense. Whiskey, you got people, you got them coming in your little town. That's not too little, 18,000. That's not too little. Of course, probably 4,000 or 5,000 of them are, who knows? MS Motorsports, how you doing? Yeah, well, I don't want to be the type to post my videos saying something's getting ready to happen. Yeah, really watch out. Something's going to happen right away, you know. But boy, the more and more I see this party crumbling and their desperation and their damn tactics, I figure there's going to be a breaking point. There's going to be a breaking point. Liberals, after they just hung their Mexican flag, and now they have to find an Iranian flag. Ha ha ha! Oh man, now I got to find an Iranian flag. Here is, you know, what is this? This is a video. Fox News. Now Trump is giving Fox News a hard way to go, and somebody, I guess, brought up the point that Trump is an isolationist. They're trying to say he's a warmongering isolationist that buddies up to people like Kim Jong-il and Putin, okay? Trying to keep that BS going. How can they call him an isolationist when after he got to the presidency, he visited more countries in his first 2 weeks than Biden had in 2 years? How can they call him an isolationist? But that's what they do. And this guy's trying to defend Trump. But I'd have pointed that out. He's dealt with more world leaders in 60 days than Biden did his whole term.
The MAGA movement is not isolationist. Donald Trump is not an isolationist. But I think some of the Republican isolationists are suddenly discovering that they're out of touch with the MAGA movement and Donald Trump.
But, Mark, you can see that this is a historic moment that affects, you know, big picture, his legacy.
Oh, 100%. But again, I have total confidence in Donald Trump because Donald Trump, this is the guy who killed Qasem Soleimani. You think he's afraid to take out Fordo? Of course not. Yeah. He destroyed ISIS. He launched a cyber attack on Russia. He's not an isolationist.
All right, panel, we'll watch and wait. Thank you.
Well, you know, I would have brought up just what I brought up. How many world leaders he's met, how many peace deals he's put together. The question wasn't whether he was a coward. It's whether he was an isolationist. And I'd have handled it a little bit differently, but he did pretty good. He did pretty good. Here's a big truth Trump put out. Let me see here. Boy, that's a wordy one. Here, they're talking about he's a warmonger. He's an isolationist. I am very happy to report that I have arranged, along with Secretary of State Marco Rubio, a wonderful treaty between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Republic of Rwanda in their war, which was known for violent bloodshed and death, more so even than most other wars, and has gone on for decades. Representatives from Rwanda and the Congo will be in Washington on Monday to sign documents. This is a great day for Africa and, quite frankly, a great day for the world. I won't get a Nobel Prize for this. I won't get a Nobel Prize for stopping the war between India and Pakistan. I won't get a Nobel Prize for stopping the war between Serbia and Kosovo. I won't get a Nobel Prize for keeping peace between Egypt and Ethiopia. A massive Ethiopian-built dam, stupidly financed by the United States of America, substantially reduces the water flow into the Nile River. And I won't get a new Nobel Prize for doing the Abraham Accords in the Middle East, which, if all goes well, would be loaded to the brim with additional countries signing on and will unify the Middle East for the first time in ages. Quotes, the ages. No, I won't get a Nobel Prize no matter what I do, including Russia, Ukraine, and Israel, Iran, whatever those outcomes may be. But the people know, and that's all that matters to me. So there's a very good synopsis of past and present performance by President Trump. And I don't know if it was a response to that attempt to dial him up a little bit on Fox News. And so much more could have been said during that segment. Oh, this is that reactor I showed you that got bombed. They said there wasn't any nuclear material there. And I'm sure Trump is going to ask Putin about, along with Putin's statement. He said, we have 200 atomic research personnel at a facility, and they're not going anywhere, and we don't want them harmed because we have an agreement with Iran. I think Trump's going to have a question. If you guys are supposed to be watching them so closely, how come they're sending videos of them petting a nuclear bomb? How come they're sending out messages saying they've got enriched uranium hidden away in a safe place? Are they lying to you, or who's lying to who? You guys saying you're on top of it, Vlad. Iran at the risk of radiation accident after Israeli strike on Iraq nuclear reactor. Although, quote, no major radiological incident, Grossi says. According to him, key buildings were damaged. Well, they previously stated, and I said this the other night, that there was no nuclear material at the site. Somebody is lying. And this stuff is all supposed to be verified via treaty. Somebody is either fibbing or actually breaking treaties, which can be an act of war. Vlad. So somebody better sharpen their pencil. Let me see here. Hi, Benjamin. Larry, how you doing, Larry? Whiskey's here. Just looking through the chats. So, let's see. You know, on top of these true believers, fellow travelers, commies that have infiltrated, we've also got common criminals and low IQ thieves. Like here, it's Sean Daniel put this out again. $50,000 job with a $5 million payout in Florida. What's that all about? What's that all about? Florida taxpayers were scammed out of $5 million when a healthcare company run by Democrat Representative Shayla, McCormick, she must be Irish, took a massive overpayment meant to be just $50,000. The company kept quiet, didn't return the money, and only years later did Florida have to sue to get it back. Now she's in Congress, cutting a sweetheart deal to repay the stolen funds over 15 years with no charges filed. If a Republican did this, they'd be in jail. $5 million payout. Oh, but you get in with the in crowd. And as long as you do what they say, you don't have to be a true believer. You don't have to be a Marxist operative. You're just a low IQ, dishonest crook. That's all they need. They don't need true believers. I might have a... Wait a minute. Did I get a video of this? What is this? Congressman Maxwell Frost. ICE is engaged in human trafficking by deporting illegals. I don't know if I have a... I thought I downloaded that video, but I don't see it. Matthew Frost. Huh. Maybe it's this one. What is this? Yeah, I listened to the video. They are coming in with masks, grabbing people and taking them across the border. That's human trafficking.
Because Donald Trump ran.
Yeah, this is it right here. Listen, this is another one of their attacks that low IQ, rabid TDS freaks buy. Hook, line, and sinker.
And on this mass deportation thing, but the thing everyone needs to realize is deportation is a process. It's a legal process. Oftentimes it can take weeks, if not months, up to a year, depending on the case. And what's going on right now is actually not mass deportation even, because people aren't being given due process. There is no legal process for people. We have ICE federal agents pulling up, terrorizing our communities, hopping out of unmarked vans, stealing and, yes, kidnapping people, not giving them their day in court, and, yes, human trafficking them to other nations, other countries around the entire world. And
I would like to see the victims of migrant crime, be able to sue you just like they sued Alec Jones for your lies. That to say there's no due process is a damn lie. To say that for people who enter this country illegally and refuse to leave, that it takes weeks and months to process them is a damn lie. And you're inciting people, and like I say, people who suffer at the hands of migrant crime should do a class action lawsuit, civil lawsuit against morons like that. And they need to be called out, just like I'm calling them out here this evening. Did you ever have somebody ever talk like that here this evening? What are you going to do here this evening? But anyway, like here, Libs of TikTok put this up. You know, Kathy Hochul up in New York is providing $50 million worth of taxpayer funds to go to legal bills for illegal immigrants, illegal aliens. I'm going to quit using the immigrant term. They're aliens. They're alien invaders. Gavin Newsom is copycatting that. Isn't that aiding and abetting? And it's a slush fund for attorneys. You know, I was watching a lawyer and they said, there's more attorneys than there are cases. That's why attorneys take crap cases. Because there's so many of them, they're starving. And they got to dream up stuff. They got to chase down ambulances in a metaphorical sense, you know, like cases that don't have a leg to stand on. And if they can get a government to guarantee them a paycheck for hours that they work, just to be able to prepare some specious BS case that ain't going to go nowhere, they don't give a damn as long as they get their money. It's a slush fund. And the Dodgers, this is what Libs of TikTok is asking. Dodger Stadium refused entry to ICE agents. Remember Dodger Stadium? They had the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, the gay, transgender, cross-dressing nuns. Hey, Dodgers, how much financial assistance are you committing to angel families like Laken Riley and Rachel Morin's family? Morin, yeah. Los Angeles Dodgers. In partnership with the city of Los Angeles, the Dodgers have committed $1 million toward direct financial assistance for families of immigrants impacted by recent events. Go to hell. And I hope that the Dodgers get their eyeballs sued out of their head by the victims. We're all victims because they're picking our pockets. Kathy Hochul, Gavin Newsom, taking the fruits of your labor, the sweat of your brow, and just passing it out to so-called lawyers. Dodgers announced MS-13 bobblehead night. You got to have a little bit of humor. Yeah, I tell you what, if I could go back and do it over, boy, I'd be getting a law degree right now, and I would be getting the lawsuits lined up, baby. For some of these goofy radicals, since I get in trouble for saying that too often now. Here's what dopey David Pakman puts out. Did you all see Trump talking during the flag raising? We got some good tidbits and nuggets from that, didn't we? Did you see what David Pakman is describing here? Another one I suspect of being brought to you by U.S. aid, funded through our own tax dollars, laundered through foreign aid, and then right back into the pockets of the likes of dopey David Pakman. That's my suspicion, allegedly. Completely disoriented Trump attempts to speak, fails badly. He does an almost 10-minute video. On what? I'm not giving it a click. I'm just showing you how they're scratching the bottom of the barrel so hard. I hope they get splinters up in their fingernails. Oh, buddy. And you get a comeuppance. You get a flipping comeuppance. What's this? Oh, Midas trash. Trump's 2 weeks on deciding if we go to war is just another distraction. He does this all the time. Basically, he's hoping everyone forgets about it and he doesn't have to make a decision at all by putting it off because he has no idea what he's doing. What the hell kind of thinking is that? You got somebody, a worldwide businessman, someone who's dealt with geopolitics, knows the inside scoop via the military, okay? Studied the political science of it all. And you got idiots like Midas Trash Network second guessing somebody. They couldn't even shine his shoes. They couldn't shine his shoes. Let me see. I want to get some more of this stuff that's going on around. For all we know, something could pop off tonight on anything. On anything. Keep your head on a swivel. Don't be a panicking, okay? And don't get yourself upset over it. Isn't this odd? Remember last month I talked about an earthquake in Iran? Well, another one happened at a very critical time. Remember, when Kim Jong-il was causing his little upheavals and problems, there was a, quote, earthquake, remember? And his facility was demolished where they tested nuclear bombs. Significant magnitude 5.2 earthquake on the Richter scale has struck Iran, 87 kilometers southeast of Senman, the European Mediterranean Seismology, whatever, center says. Ain't that something? And the air quotes scientists said that the earthquake in North Korea, was caused by the repeated testing cause a shift in the tectonic plates? I don't think so. I think somebody went there and took the damn site out, if you want to know the truth. Maybe somebody did the same thing this time. Remember that video I showed you last night of the big, huge, what 100-story tall dust bomb that went off. Iran and European countries have made no progress in talks in Geneva today that could lead to an end to hostilities. This is the Wall Street Journal. According to the publication, Britain, France, and Germany may have joined the U.S. position, have joined the U.S. position and demanded that Iran completely stop enriching uranium on its territory. But Tehran categorically refuses. Oh, we see a lining up. Are they trying to box Trump in on something hard and fast and then kind of project that onto the Ukraine-Russia deal? They study this stuff and they try to maximize their positions. But Trump has made it plump and plain for 20 years. He doesn't need the Europeans to tell him squat. He's already said they're not going to have a bomb. I got a video clip of him. I wonder if this is let me see if this is it. I got 3 different clips of him heading to Bedminster, I believe. Or he already landed in New Jersey. This might be the one where he says they don't want to talk to the European countries. They want to talk to me. Oh, he says us, but he means me. This might not be the same clip. We'll listen to it and comment later.
Mr. President, the Iranian foreign minister this afternoon said if the U.S. is serious about negotiations, that you would call up Israel and request that they stop their airstrikes. Will you make that request?
Well, I think it's very hard to make that request right now. If somebody's winning, it's a little bit harder to do than if somebody's losing. But we're ready, willing, and able, and we've been speaking to Iran, and we'll see what happens. Just time to see whether or not people come to their senses. Did
the Europeans help at all in talking with the Iranians?
No, they didn't help. No. Iran doesn't want to speak to Europe. They want to speak to us. Europe is not going to be able to help.
Have 2 weeks, or could you strike before that? Are you essentially giving them a 2-week timeline?
I'm giving them a period of time. We're going to see what that period of time is, but I'm giving them a period of time, and I would say 2 weeks would be the maximum.
Yeah, okay. He said they don't want to talk to Europe. They want to talk to us. And why call for a ceasefire when you're winning? When you're winning. Of course, you wouldn't believe that by some of the reports that are coming out about them running out of interceptors, stuff I talked about last night. 2 American KC-46A Pegasus tanker aircraft arrived in Hawaii just minutes ago. This was about, 6 hours ago. A British air tanker also landed at Darwin Air Force Base, Northern Australia. What is happening clearly shows that the U.S. is preparing to deploy something heavy to the Indo-Pacific and Middle East operational areas. The U.S. is likely to once again deploy the B-2A Spirit strategic bombers to Diego Garcia Air Base in the Indian Ocean to strike Iran. Hi, Miss Mendersu. What is the range of a B-2 bomber? No goggling. Does anybody know? What's the range before they have to refuel? Anybody got a notion? Let's see. Ha ha ha. Yeah, he's talking to the brain dead base. Well, I don't know. We got more and more people waking up, and we get into this stuff about, well, this judge. I mean, this thing is so out of left field, such a hostile ruling, such a power grab. I can't believe that there's not going to be some backlash. And Trump has got to stay above the fray. What's this one now? Israeli jets struck Hezbollah rocket launchers and weapon sites in Lebanon, southern Lebanon, as the group tried to restore operations in violation of Israeli-Lebanon understandings, the IDF says. Oh. So who's ordering that? Of course, it's the Ayatollah is ordering that. And that left Israel to put out Israel, I guess, high command. Israel's military chief warns of a prolonged campaign against Iran. Israel's military chief has told soldiers to prepare for a, quote, complex and prolonged, unquote, campaign against Iran, saying it was necessary to thwart what he described as an Iranian plot to destroy the Jewish state. Despite an opening salvo that has severely diminished Iran's missile launch capabilities and decapitated its military leaderships, the campaign is not over. Chief of the General Staff, Lieutenant General, how you say that name? Eyal Zamir. Although we have made significant achievements, difficult days still lie ahead. We are in a pivotal period in which we must remove an existential threat. Iran's investments in a network of proxies that surrounded Israel with a, quote, ring of fire, unquote, in ballistic missiles and nuclear programs made it necessary to, quote, actively, proactively, and in advance in order to prevent existential threats. So, doesn't look like it's going to be quick and dirty or quick and clean. Quick and clean is going to be for the domestic issues once we've mapped out the nexus. Is this a video or a still shot? Let me see. This is a still shot. Yeah, a still shot of a drone being intercepted. Let me get the, I think I have a video of that. Because I want to show you something. If I got the video, I'll show it to you. What I'm talking about. Oh, maybe not. Well, if I come across it, I'll put it up there. Iran's been sending drones in, but you can hear the prop noise. The prop noise versus that video I showed the other night. Here is a targeted assassination. This happened earlier today or very early in the morning. A targeted assassination a short time ago in the heart of Tehran. You see the hole in the side of the building going right into their apartment to minimize civilian injuries. And those operations, of course, are ongoing. Here to the liberals. Here you go. Why are people using examples from fiction for the war on women when we have real life examples? There you go. Is this how y'all want to live? Put that in your meta. Yeah, you got one Hollywood movie and a fictional book, and they run their whole life by it. What's this one? Netanyahu said Iran still has 28,000 ballistic missiles. Al Jazeera reports. Israeli officials. The Iranian regime shows no signs of losing control. In fact, it appears to be tightening its grip. So, the messages they're putting out is that the Iranian regime is not tottering. Not tottering. That there's still a lot of, quote, work to do. Will they get it done within a 2-week period? I do not know. Trump said, I'll give you time to negotiate. I think he's going to give Israel the okay to do something big. But anyway, here's another. I'm not sure what this subject is. We'll talk about it after the clip.
Prime Minister Netanyahu said that they had the capacity to take out all of Iran's nuclear facilities. So what role would the U.S. be able to play, and why would they, if Israel says that they have all of the abilities, their own military?
I'm not sure he said that, but they really have a very limited capacity. They could break through a little section, but they can't go down very deep. They don't have that capacity, and we'll have to see what happens. Maybe it won't be necessary. Maybe it won't be necessary.
So he doesn't feel Iran can do it. Israel can do it. Israel said, well, we can do it with ground troops. Human beings, we don't need to do it with bombs. Here's another clip from when he was at Bedminster. And remember, Putin says they got a couple of hundred people in the nuclear field. So we got to be, putting that in the hopper as far as what pops out as a decision. Anyway, let's see what Trump says now.
He had a big victory last night in the Court of Appeals with respect to Los Angeles, but really the country, where Gavin Newsom, who's really an incompetent governor, he's just doing a terrible job between his fires, between all the houses burning down, his forest fires, and now Los Angeles. If we didn't go to Los Angeles, and the sheriff admitted it, he had no control. He would have lost control. We saved Los Angeles by having the military go in. And the second night was much better. The third night was nothing much. And the fourth night, nobody bothered even coming. We put out that fire, and we did a great job of it. He sued us for going in and for helping him. We went and helped him. Right now, you'd have Los Angeles burning to the ground. Largely, it would have already been destroyed.
Yeah, unanimous Court of Appeals about the National Guard in California. Trump won that very, very handily. I see some estimates. Pappy Two Bears says 7,000 miles. Whiskey said 24,000. Wow. How much fuel does a bomber hold, B-2 bomber, stealth bomber? And how many miles, nautical miles, can it take? 6,000. 6,000 is the answer. So Pappy Two Bears is the closest. But if we played by what's the game? Price is Right. If you go over, but we're not playing by Price is Right. We're going by who's closest. So 6,000 miles. Yeah, you could go from Washington, D.C. To Sacramento, where Gruesome Newsom has got his office. Go ahead and annihilate by dropping holy water, I'll put it that way, all over the site. And then come on back to D.C. on one tank of gas. Yeah. So anyway, normal people, holy water wouldn't hurt. But we're not dealing with normal people. Oh, this is when it first came out about this Khalil. I didn't see that. Yeah, ordered his release. Then people say, well, is he going to let him out? Is he really going to do it? Well, yeah, he did. Here, let's go through some of this stuff here. Department of State. Now, this is where we're getting into the nitty-gritty, folks. We got this judge who is an operative, I think, my opinion, And we got this activist, 30-some-year-old supposed student, who is a mouthpiece for a terrorist organization in our country, being protected. But the Department of State says this is just the beginning. This is where they fired this character I showed you earlier that was telling illegals how to get legal aid, how to hide, to lie. Okay? They fired him. This is just the beginning. These radicals, this is from the Department of State official language. These radicals with anti-American views have been embedded in our executive branch for generations. And we are systematically cleaning out contractors that have allowed this. That's why I put in my thumbnail, embedded contractors. Let's be clear. If you have these views and you work in or with the State Department, they kick your rear end out. That's because of this. Just in, U.S. Department visa specialist, the one I was telling you about, fired. State Department launches new vetting process. So they're going to be going through these contractors and rooting them out and summarily firing people that are radical anti-American individuals. Libs of TikTok. Here we go again. Like the subversives from Congress, state representatives. I've already shown you the one getting run off the road. Wow. In Simsbury, Connecticut, Democrats made an official statement calling for 8647. Democrats are proudly and openly calling for the assassination of President Trump. This is abhorrent. And there you see their official Twitter handle. Simsbury Dems. Our official statement on the No King rallies today is simple. 8647. Somebody's rear end should be investigated. Actually, worse than that, as far as I'm concerned. What's the next one in the thread? Let's see. Breaking. Oh, this is good news. Jack Black loses nearly $15 million in concert tours after he went woke. So this, you remember this. This is when his fat, stupid buddy said, "Don't miss Trump next time." Tenacious D band. They got canceled around the world for that comment. But it shows you they've been towing this line for a long time. And then you finally had James Comey come out with a slogan. I'm sure they spent a lot of time dreaming up how they could pretend like it's harmless. They know what they're calling for, but they can play stupid. But this time with Jack Black, the public wasn't fooled. They don't want to go to the stupid concert. It costs you a barrel of money, and I hope it costs you a lot more. What's this one? Oh, State Department staffer. Is this the same guy? Says he is a guy who works for the State Department. Says he wants Elon Musk to be dragged out and lynched on the streets. I would love for him, Elon, to be dragged out of the building. And he's saying it is published, lynched in the streets. What's going on here, Secretary Rubio? That's his name, Arslan Akhtar. Oh, he's a visa specialist. I think it's the same guy. Dragged out of the building with his hair plugs. What are we dealing with these guys? Should he even be in the country? Much less in a cushy government job where he can work to subvert our immigration system, our influence our elections, and incite others. Here's another one. Breaking update. Minnesota lobbyist and Democrat donor Jonathan Michael Bond has now been charged with felony threats of violence. Some of the messages he reportedly sent included, "Today I bought 500 bullets. I can't wait to SHOOT one of you MFers in the face." Yeah. Democrat donor. Didn't I say that I felt that social media was being combed and flagged for people who would behave like this? We're going to see a lot more of them getting arrested. A lot more. Oh, like for example, where'd it go? Here. I took a screenshot of this. Somebody had they put up something about Trump. Here it is. Here it is. Now this impact put up Senate's big bad budget. They call it the big bad budget instead of big beautiful bill. That's another one of their psyops. Big bad budget would impose a sweeping nationwide abortion ban by blocking Affordable Care Act insurers from covering abortion in all 50 states. So they babble on about it being an extreme measure, override state protections. I thought there was a federal law that no federal money could go to that because people think it's a mortal sin. A mortal sin. But anyway, they're threatening to cut off critical federal funds to insurers that offer abortion coverage. And then they put up a tweet about, what's the name of that act that nobody can be forced to pay for those sorts of things, that horrible action. Anyway, somebody put good news, and I gave them a thumbs up. I think it's good news that they're going to take away any kind of federal money. Look at what this guy, Nathan Nadler, keep your red hat on, boy. And he does a little machine gun with a winky face. It's MAGA hunting season. I said, oh boy, that guy's gonna get it. Well, then I scrolled a little longer. He put it up as a comment, not a response, but a comment. Trump, 1946 to 2025, and showing a machine gun with a winky face. He gets 132 thumbs ups. Somebody says, please God. Vance too, please. Then somebody said, bro, you on a list. I've been on a list for years. I want them to know I'm enlightened and dangerous. These people are whack jobs. Whacked out whack jobs. Here's a whacked out whack job. Look here. A mother and her 11-month-old baby were reportedly pepper sprayed by a man on a Queens subway after she refused to let him use her phone. This week, Governor Hochul announced $50 million for legal services. Remember the attorney slush fund I was telling you about? For illegals. How can that not be aiding and abetting? Not just her for approving the money, but the attorneys that are participating in this lawfare against their own citizens. Woman, baby, pepper sprayed on Queens subway. So you're supposed to hand your phone over so they can put it up next to their scroungy face and spit in your phone if they don't take off running with it. Look at this idiot. Remember this idiot? Padilla? It's a little hard to read. Senator Alex Padilla said California will use taxpayer funds for, quote, legal assistance, legal advice, legal support. Legal. I say it's illegal. To migrants facing threats under a Trump administration. They're not migrants. They're illegal aliens. If it's legal assistance, legal advice, legal support, that's just the California way. We embrace our diversity. Our diversity is what was made our communities thrive and our economy thrive. And so we will assist families against the threats of the Trump administration. Threats. That's what he's calling. People who want to enforce the law. They threaten people. Well, did they spray them with pepper spray for not doing what they want? But anyway, this stuff, how it's tolerated, I mean, I've talked about in the past, is it too late for this country? I mean, have we made God so angry that doesn't matter? There's so many that are warped and disturbed, but then there's so many that are fighting the good fight. So this is one right here. Right here. Libs of TikTok. Now watch how quickly this story disappears from the leftist media. Exclusive. Vance Bolter, the assassin who has been taken alive, blamed Governor Walz for shooting rampage in confession letter. Sources say he blamed Governor Walz for shooting rampage in confession letter. Multiple sources with direct knowledge of the investigation and confirmed to Alpha News that Bolter's so-called confession letter was intended for Kash Patel, the director of the FBI. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Well, I found a little bit more. Nick Sortor. Breaking. Minnesota assassin Vance Bolter told the FBI in a letter that Tim Walz asked him to end the life of Senator Amy Klobuchar so that Walz could take her seat. This is why they hid the manifesto. We need a full investigation now. Walz is actually covering this up. There they are, the familiar picture. Amy Klobuchar. So he can't be governor forever. His term's going to expire. He wanted to be a senator. Here we go. Story to disappear in 3, 2, 1. Bolter claimed he needed to kill Klobuchar so Walz could run for the U.S. Senate. Walz isn't running for the Senate. He opted against it early this year, and Mulling, yeah, well, he would if he had to answer a call of duty for a fallen comrade. Of course he wouldn't run against her. But if he had to do it for the good of the party, he would. So we shall see. What's this? Brendan McQuaid, associate professor at the University of Southern Maine, calls on local authorities to stop cooperating with ICE and says it's fascist and wants all illegals released. Who's paying his salary? I'm sure in some part the federal government is contributing. Should he continue to be an associate professor, calling for the resistance? Okay. And then this little thing down here, Trump hints at détente. Détente with Harvard. Very possible that a deal will be announced. I don't know about that. You'd have to clean out a lot of commies for Trump to do anything with this bunch. Wow, man. A lot of stuff from Trump. A lot of truths from Trump. What's this? This is Diamond Silk. This is wrong. I hate to tell Diamond Silk. Tulsi Gabbard didn't say that the Iranians were not working on. That got misquoted, misconstrued, and now they're saying that Trump is abandoning Tulsi Gabbard. I think we're going to see that play out a little bit more. Wow. U.S. aid official pleads guilty in sprawling corruption scheme. Roderick Watson, a former U.S. attorney for internal development, USAID, employee who worked under the Biden administration, and 3 businessmen pled guilty to participating in a $500 million fraud. I heard that, Kamala Harris. This might end up in Kamala Harris's lap. This $550 million, along with, I'm sure, others. Here we go. This is a report that Trump put on Truth Social from Newsmax. And he felt it was important enough to post this clip, so I'm going to play it.
And now, thanks to Miranda Devine and Senator Grassley, we have some proof. There was a prosecutor who really had a passion for going after J6ers and all things Trump. There he is, and we have an email from him to his DOJ and FBI colleagues. Take a look at this. This is how they talk to each other. Can we do some work to nail down Trump's role in this? According to this Forbes article, Trump recorded the Pledge of Allegiance at MAL, Mar-a-Lago, and Kash Patel is involved. I'll talk to Maria Naren and Julia about doing some follow-up here to nail down Trump's role. In other words, to nail Trump. Can we get something on Trump? This is not the way the justice system is supposed to work. No, it's the next. The FBI gets in on the action. I think we have another one from a guy who was really anxious to get J6ers as well. The FBI agent replies, Esther and I are working on this today. We're going to put together our findings at 2 and get something to you shortly after that. This isn't justice. This isn't policing. This isn't law enforcement. This is dark political operations. And they just had no problem lying about it. This is Merrick Garland. The guy should have been busted for perjury or, I don't know, disbarred for something, because this is not true.
This appointment underscores for the public the department's commitment to both independence and accountability in particularly sensitive matters, and to making decisions indisputably guided only by the facts and the law.
I have a chance to lead a Justice Department in pursuit of the rule of law.
We have only one rule.
And that one rule is that we follow the facts and the law, and we reach the decisions required by the Constitution, and we protect civil liberties. Mr. Smith?
No, they don't. No, they didn't. And they said it so much, it was like muscle memory. It was like automatic, right? It became boilerplate language. We don't look at politics. It's only the facts. Look at Jack Smith. Does anybody believe all of these indictments, all of these arrests, right? They were not looking at politics. Jack Smith, the weirdo special counsel, go.
Adherence to the rule of law is a bedrock principle of the Department of Justice. And our nation's commitment to the rule of law sets an example for the world. We have one set of laws in this country, and they apply to everyone. Applying those laws, collecting facts, that's what determines the outcome of an investigation. Nothing more and nothing less.
Oh, yeah? No? What about poll numbers? What about a President Trump who's wildly popular in the Republican Party and just kind of running for the nomination and has a lock on it, and you guys arrest him within a 4-month period, right as the election year is really kicking into high gear? Is that the facts? Is that just following the law? Where it is one of the reasons why Joe Biden did so poorly in that debate. He didn't think he'd even have to debate Trump. He was confident that he wasn't going to be the nominee, that he might be in jail. Did not work out that way, did it? Anyway, just remember, this is a doozy. They tried to criminalize the singing of the national anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance, raising all kinds of questions about, well, where did the money go? And how did this happen? And how did that happen? This is a classic example. Show me the man, we'll find the crime.
Yeah, election interference. Election interference. Plump and plain. Criminalizing singing the national anthem and trying to get Trump and Kash Patel under charges while Trump was a presidential candidate. Hi, Choosy, how you doing? So anyway, I talked about the man in the arena, right? And isn't it funny? Dan Scavino put this up today. And I said, if I come across that video, I'm going to play it. Because when I get my Irish up, when people criticize the people in the battle, the ones in the battle, I said, I got to play the man in the arena for you all. Not all of you, of course. Many of you know what people have done, sacrificed to get us all to this point. This 10-year slog through all the filth and garbage and lies and slander and libel and threats that these animals have thrown. I don't want to get too off the rails, but I want to thank everybody for helping me out on Buy Me a Coffee. I haven't asked for a thumbs up through the whole video. I hate it when I forget to do that. Would you all give me a thumbs up? It helps the video get around. Share the video. And I want to thank K&S Cleanup for helping out last night. And also Mike and Bev. I know they're watching me on the big screen, and I appreciate that. I hope it doesn't bother people too much when I go to being a talking head again. I don't know how long I'll do that. And I appreciate Pappy Two Bears, Wayne, and Whiskey for helping out this week. And everybody that's helped out in the past. So I want to thank you all for spending your precious time with me also. And please take the time to watch this short video about the man in the arena. And think about what it's saying to you when we look at people who are in the arena fighting the fight. And we're on the sidelines doing the best we can. Okay, folks. Oh, yes. Miss Bindersu gave me a thumbs up. Ha-ha, Todd did too. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Choosy. I'm sounding good. Okay, wonderful. Well, anyway, folks, do me a favor and watch this clip and really keep it to heart. And I should be, if something big happens, I'm going to go live tomorrow. But if you're subscribed and hit the notification bell, you'll know when I go live. You'll get a notification, and you can join us all in the chats, make a friend, or whatever. So anyway, folks, enjoy this clip. I hope you all have a great night. I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.
It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who was actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again. Because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds? Who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions? Who spends himself in a worthy cause? Who, at the best, knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who, at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat.